Hello, and welcome to another episode of Canadian Stacker. It's been a little bit since I put a video out, about 5 or 6 days. Today, I'm just going to touch base on a few things that have come up. I've been working a lot, driving long-distance shuttles and going into the bush where I have no cell service. So I've been pretty much unable to do too much of anything and actually even read news. So yeah, so basically what I thought was going to happen happened with the Federal Reserve. 25% basis point hike. I see the Fed continuing to raise rates after this. They might do a pause next time, like a 1 month pause, but they are ultimately going to raise rates. They have to, because they have to fight the inflation monster. No matter what happens right now, oil prices are going up, and that's bad for inflation in North America and in the Western world, because oil being at $75 rather than $100 is pretty much the only reason why everything isn't 10 to 15% more expensive right now than it already is. So as we approach winter and the European Union needs more and more fuel, which is going to start as of now, August 1st, they're going to start stocking. Well, they're already loading. I used to work as a ice road truck driver, and I used to do oil deliveries in the wintertime. And the moment that the season approaches when they need to start stocking, they start filling, and that's when it starts driving prices up. So today, August 1st, I would say would be when they start literally loading the supply warehouses, and that'll start driving fuel prices up. We also have production down by many millions of barrels from OPEC, plus a couple of problems with refineries here in North America. That's all going to contribute to the raising of oil prices. Now, right now, there's a bunch of stuff going on over in Europe, and I wanted to touch base a little bit on the conflict that's over there. I don't know if I should mention it by name or not, but everybody knows what's going on. And the primary power involved being, just to heck with it, being the Russians. They are 60% involved with their economy currently. So if you actually look at their GDP to military spending on this particular endeavor, they are at 60% involved. The Ukrainians are 100% involved. Oh, yummy. Delicious berry along the trail. Oh, blackberries are the best. Anyways, yeah, so Russia's about 60% involved financially with their military expenditure budget. Ukraine obviously is 100% involved, and they're on a full military war footing. And well, now we need to talk about the West. Right now, the Russians are in a bit of a financial bind. Like I said, they're 60% of the way involved, where if you look at the West and you combine all the donations up, you know, from the United States and all the Western nations, Canada, UK, Germany, all that, we are roughly around 5%. So what does that tell us? We can outspend Russia 12-1. So it's not that I'm saying that Russia's losing this war, because I ultimately believe that they will prevail unless we get more militarily involved, like boots on the ground, full asset protection, maybe Poland taking the eastern portion, the western, I don't know, the side closer to Europe, and putting it under their belt. Putin already said he was amicable to that. You know, basically the West coming in and, you know, closing that off and sealing that up, and as long as they don't interfere with the regions that he's already got, he doesn't see a problem with that. He literally stated that. Either it was him or it was Sergei Lavrov, one of the two of them. So they're already offering an olive branch to the West, and offer saying, you know, like, if you guys come in and you secure this, we'll call her good there. And the West right now wants to bleed Russia some more. I don't understand the method and the logic behind wanting to continue it. Like I've said before, we as a people just want the fighting to stop. You know, you've got like several million people displaced. You have hundreds of thousands of casualties on both sides, and a horrible loss of life. Like, we've got a bunch of people that were breathing a year and a bit ago that aren't anymore. And ultimately, like I said before, war is a waste. But the powers that be that are in charge, you know, they make money off of sales, and they need to drive them higher. So now that I've got that out of the way, let's move on to the BRICS. Okay, they had their meeting They say not too much was discussed, but I slightly beg to differ, because I actually watched some of it, and I actually had it translated, and Sergei Lavrov and the a couple of the leaders of Europe, of Africa, were discussing at a round table about needing to completely come off the dependence on the US, because all we give is fiat paper. We don't make anything. We shouldn't be able to buy anything, because that's how it should be. Africa's tired of being colonialized. Now, America might say, oh, we're not colonializing anyone. Look at the map. Look at where all the military bases are. It's not colonialization. We won't call it that. We'll call it demographic selection necessity based on resource. So, we can't delude ourselves into thinking that, the U.S. has been, forcing its mandate pretty much on its portion of the world for a long time now. The French have been doing the same. Brits aren't too much better. And Canada, well, we sold a whole bunch of military hardware to Saudi Arabia to help them win the war that they fighting against the Yemenis or whatever the heck it is that's over there. Like, literally, if we look at everything, we are involved in this, and Africans and the African nations have had enough. Now, do I think it's enough to get away from the U.S. hegemony? Probably not. The U.S. is pretty entrenched, it's got a very strong financial system. 58% of all world trade is conducted in the U.S. dollar. Okay, we're going to get all these people saying, well, this item and that item and this item and that item, they're not denominated in U.S. currency. Well, let's look at it from a different point of view. If we use the U.S. dollar and we use the European euro, and to some extent the Canadian dollar and the Australian dollar, and they all decide that they're going to band together in this financial system, which they are, the U.S.'s market share is 58%, but it bumps up into the 70s. So, 70% plus of the world is reliant on it. So, I keep hearing people saying, well, France is joining it. France is joining it. Italy is looking at joining it. And that sounds great until you realize that India literally said it doesn't want any new members at all, period. End of story, stop. Full stop. So you have a divided BRICS. Now, can this change in a few years, 5, 6, 7 years? Sure. But today, right now, let's just stop the doom and gloom about the financial system imploding tomorrow and go on with, right now, we're on a bit of a pause. We're literally sitting here on a pause on the collapse. The U.S. is in a pretty strong brokerage position. Everybody says it's not. Biden, he said we don't have ammunition left. It's all staged. If anybody actually believes that the United States government gave away every single piece of ammunition they have to the Ukrainian effort, I think you are grossly and sadly mistaken. I've worked in logistics with the United States military and the Canadian military, moving around engine components and other items. And I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't see shiploads of cargo going over for the war effort. I'm sure maybe they were smuggling it in shipping containers and hiding it all, but I've been to a warehouse that has probably, in Canada, 10,000 tons of 105 and 120 millimeter shells, 10,000 tons of ammunition, okay? And that's just our little piddly military, we could literally fire shells here in Canada, probably nonstop out our guns for a year before we even start to, come close to depleting our stockpile. So, are we close to being out of ammunition? Maybe the stuff that's the Russian stuff. The 122 rounds, the 100 millimeter rounds, stuff that's, like Russian manufactured, because our Russian allies are swapping over to NATO equipment, and they're basically selling off through a lend-lease to Ukraine all the old Soviet era 1980s, 1970s, all the older stock stuff. We're selling it to them. So don't delude yourselves. We're out of stuff that we can give away, basically, and use it as a carrot to keep Ukraine compliant with what we want. We're running out of that. But NATO actual shells, I don't see a couple. I don't see 500 or 800 Abrams over there firing off. Our rounds that are in the Abrams. I don't see Leopards deployed there like crazy, firing the rounds. I don't see Challengers like crazy. They're firing off and deploying out ammunition. You know, so let's be realistic here. You know, like our primary fighter jets carry a completely different ammunition than what the Russian equipment that's in Ukraine utilizes. So we're not using up our Air Force weaponry. We're not using up our own logistical ammunition. You can just look at it for yourself. You know, that was said basically. I don't know why that slipped out from him, but you know, like maybe we're running low on Warsaw Pact ammunition, you know, stuff that our nations don't utilize. But don't kid yourself. They're now saying that they need to make more ammunition. But what they need to make more ammunition for is Soviet-era military equipment. So they need to get into making stuff that is going to go into AK-47s. They need to make ammunition for AK-47s. So they're talking about building these plants, you know. And there was a guy saying, why would Western nations you know, contribute to building large facilities in Ukraine, you know, like not military, but like factories and stuff. I did a little bit of research into that, and it turns out that we're not building like Nestle's iced tea plants and chips plants. That's not what we're doing. We're funding logistical delivery ports for grain down in the Black Sea region, close to the border with whatever nations are along the Black Sea away from Russia. There's a couple of ports there that added up to a total of 1% of the entire you know, ability to offload and load cargo in the Ukraine. It's down there, 1% before the war. That's been bumped up to 25%. So we're literally slamming in ports that are further away from Russia that we can control and send up the Dnieper River. I think that's what it's called. It runs all the way through the middle of Europe and can go all the way up and come out into the Atlantic. The original depth of this channel was 2.1 or 2.3 meters. The Ukrainians have dredged it out to over 6 meters of depth, so it can bring in larger ships, container ships, which are in a safer location, and they can literally be escorted by NATO vessels within 10 minutes of departure. You know, powering up, they can go down and get into NATO or neutral waters and be escorted out. So they're trying their best to move the grain facilities away. Now, Russia bombed the ever-living snot and tar out of them, you know, in Odessa. You know, like he canceled the grain deal. Yeah, he did. And I checked into what his reasoning behind that was, and he feels that if the rest of the world wants to eat their bread, then all of his country's food exports should be exempt from the sanctions that are against it. If you want to eat the 20% of the food that's fed to the world of grain from Ukraine, then you need to accept Russian food and pay us for it, because we're letting the Ukrainians, you know, earn money and feed you. So why aren't you going to let us feed, you know, us sell ours? So they want equality in the trade transaction. Now, whether or not the information that I've read, which was in the Times, is accurate, I can't guarantee that, because, you know, I don't know about the media, whether they're being honest or not. But if I take that at face value, what was in the article, it sounds like Russia's getting a bit of a raw deal on that. And yeah, I can kind of understand why he closed the deal. Now, bombing the ports, that's a war crime and an infrastructure that supports water, like food export, like grain silos, food storage, schools, hospitals, that kind of stuff, supposedly, according to the Geneva Convention, is protected. Now, you need to remember that the United States of America never signed on to this, Russia never signed on to this, China never signed on to this, so they're not held to the same standards. So, you know, it's all great in practice, but when war comes, you know, like, and you think that you're on the right side, it doesn't matter, because, you know, whether you were right or wrong, those that remain are the ones that decide how it happened. So, you know, like, that's how you got to look at this, right? So you might have this idea how you think it's working, but in the end, when it's all done and said, history will be written by both sides, the loser and the victor. The victor will write their story of how they feel that it went, and then the loser will write how the victory went, but they'll also include how they feel they were slighted. You know what I mean? So we'll never get a clear lens. We're always going to be seeing this through a prism of whatever they want us to see. So, that said, remember, I am just a dude on the side of a river, like I always say, enjoying life, and this is not any financial information or world advice for you to take for truth. Always research everything yourself. Always do your own due diligence. I am not a financial consultant, nor am I a military analyst in any way, shape, or form. I just read newspapers, watch article clips. I go to Pravda, I read there. I read Politico, I read the Chinese state media's newspaper over there, the Chinese Times, the China Times, whatever it is. And, I kind of read it all, and then I kind of try to get into a grayish area in the middle, and that's where I try to put my thought processes. So let's go to silver and gold. What do I see happening? Well, I'm going to say that we're going to stay flat-ish for August. I don't see any big plays happening. Like, there might be some downside, but ultimately, I don't see the market really starting to kick off unless one of two things happens. The war deeply increases in ferocity. More bad news comes in from China, and by bad news I mean some seriously catastrophic stuff. Or the U.S. government decides that it's going to start cutting interest rates, or something along those lines. It's going to have to be something to move the markets. I think everybody is in that's in. I don't see any strong, in my opinion, buying opportunities coming up. Like I haven't purchased anything since the last time I told you. I'm trying to sit and pat. I'm considering at the lower-ish price that we're at now, maybe, triggering a small purchase, maybe 10% of what I've got, and possibly picking up some more gold. We've got larger banks saying now that they see $2,600 to $2,700 for gold by middle of 2024, which is a year from now. So they're saying a $600 to $700 USD leg up. To be honest with you, in Canadian terms, it's $1,000 up. If that comes to fruition, that's great. That's a 30%. The 30%, let's say, 20 to 30% leg up in the price of the metals. Like, the metals need to catch up with the economy. We all know that the real things that we need, bread, milk, eggs, cheese, gas, heat for our homes, clothing for our children's backs, the price is all going up, and it's going up faster than the inflation rate that they say is what's happening. So ultimately, gold and silver are going to go up because the people that buy gold and silver, we buy it to protect ourselves, so the value would have to go up before we'd sell it, or we'd be like, no, we're not going to sell it because it's not at a price that's, manageable. Now, that's for gold. Silver's a fickly thing, obviously, we want it to go up. The real world dollar cost average to mine it out of the ground, I think, is sitting at $22 or $23 an ounce just to pull it out of the ground. That's to get it out and ship it off to a place on average to smash it out into rounds, and that's American price. So you factor in a couple of other things. I think silver at $24 is basically the all-in production cost currently. But if you have oil go up, prices at the pump and all that go up 30%, well, you need to change the price because oil is the primary driver in the commodities market. The higher the oil price is, the higher the commodities go. So if oil goes up 30%, price of silver goes up 30%. So, if you take 24, it's $8, you slap that on $32 to $33 USD, is what I see then for next year if they're calling it that way. So, do I see a big rise? Only if bad things happen. But I could see in 12 months, 28 to 34 USD an ounce, like 45-ish to 50 Canadian, and these are spot prices that I'm blabbing out. So, tack on whatever's around at the time. If the silver market's not doing so well, maybe the premiums will drop. If silver's going out the door like crazy, obviously premiums are going to go up. So that's my opinion on all of that. Now, where do I stand on what I think I should be buying? This is all my own personal opinions, and none of it's financial advice. I think we stick with generics. Right now, the price of the spot on anything that's made from the American mint, the Canadian mint's even going up a little bit, and I can get deals that are $3 to $5 cheaper an ounce for generic rounds through my bullion dealer Saul. So I'm going to stick with talking to Saul about buying rounds. What am I going to be buying? I'm probably going to be buying either 1 ounce buffalo rounds, 1 ounce, can't remember what the heck it's called, the American Reserve coin, the Asahi coins, some of the other stuff. I'm looking at poker chips. They're 5 ounce rounds that are made by the Sunshine Mint. Those are on my playbook as well. And if I get a good price where I like it and the savings are good enough, maybe I'll pick up another few 10 ounce bricks and throw them in the mix. That's my thoughts on silver. Now, gold, on the other hand, I like to buy anything that's 1/4 ounce size and bigger. I try to stay away from tenths. Right now, I can pick up 10th ounces in Canadian for $298. Spot price around $2,500 to $2,600. So you're looking at a $400 premium, or about 15 to 18% on 10th ounce. Quarters are more like a 8 to 10%. Halves are, like a 7 to 8%. And while the rounds themselves, 1 ouncers, they're more manageable. If spot price is 26, you can pick them up for between $26.80 and $27.50. So you got about $100, like less than 5% markup on generic. So once again, I'm sticking with generic. Now, if I had to go with an actual mint where I would buy a coin from a government, once again, if you get your hand on Philharmonics, they're the cheapest that I can find currently for silver. Krugerrands are the cheapest I can currently find in a statement for 1 ounce. So that's probably where I would be with my purchases for gold in 1 ounce. As for generic larger pieces, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't even dabble in anything above 1 ounce because I'm not that rich. But I would do my research in it, and I would see if 10 ounce bars are really worth it, because that's a whole lot of metal to hold in your hand and to liquidate, right? As an American, you're talking like 20,000. As a Canadian, you're talking 27,000 to liquidate. To find someone in that kind of a position could be more difficult. Even with a coin shop, like trying to move a $25,000 piece, obviously it's going to turn some heads. It's going to pull out some forms. So I try to stick away with from anything that's above 9,000 Canadian dollars, just for purposes of being able to handle and move. CBDCs went ahead. They started the rollout. They've got a couple of banks involved down in the States now. There's talk about controlling money right down to what you can buy. Like, there was other countries that are in the U.S. financial system. I can't remember the name of them, talking about how awesome the American CBDCs are going to be because they can micro tag to their money expiration dates. They can say that you can't buy alcohol, you can't buy cigarettes, you can't buy other lewd items with it, basically controlling your ability to purchase. They can decide where they want your dollars to go. They can literally ban things just based on what they are to stop you from being able to utilize it. So that's what other countries are saying, and they're democratic nations, supposedly, but they're talking like this. And if they're talking like this, obviously the powers that be know what's going on. They're aware of what the potential risks are later on down the road. Sure, it's going to smell like a rose, but ultimately I think it smells like the rose that comes out the back end of a bull. And we're all going to have to kiss the chocolate penny. And I'm not game for that. So get yourself positioned. Once again, not financial advice, but this is what I'm doing to protect myself and my family. Because if there's no fiat paper, what are you going to do? Everybody's like, well, when the time comes, no one's going to take your silver and all that. I've done it. I'm telling you right now, people will take your silver. They'll absolutely do it. 100% guaranteed you'll find people willing to do it. Now, how do you get silver back? How do you get silver back? Well, if you give it out, it's a finite resource for yourself. But, like, let's say you've got some spare CBDC and it's not available for purchase. How do you get it back? That's where you purchase things to trade. You try to find people like-minded like yourself, and you try to build that little market there. This is not me telling you to do this to avoid anything or to dodge anything. You pay your taxes. You be a good person, and you do what you're supposed to do. I'm not soliciting that anyone do anything that they shouldn't do, but you guys need to really work on your preps. India literally stopped shipping out rice. Now there's been a lot of panic buying in different parts of the world because of it. Do I see them reversing what they're doing? I don't know. But I know that 20 to 25% of all the world's rice is not being shipped at the moment. So now, does that translate into a 20% upside for the price of rice? No, I think it goes, and it's more. Because 20% of the people of the world that use rice as a primary resource to eat and live are now going to have to buy corn or other products or pay drastically more for rice. And what is the one thing you cannot live without, aside from, well, this stuff here, water? It's food. You cannot live without food, which is your energy. It's the fuel for your body, and water. Those are the two most important things in the world, followed up quickly by shelter and clothing. So if you don't have those things, you're really going to get messed up. So if there is a financial problem and you're unable to go to the store and get stuff, you're going to wish you had it packed away for a rainy day. So my suggestion to you is follow your bees, beans, Band-Aids, bullets. You know, do your preps, get them ready, make sure that you're good, cycle through your pantry, look for your expiring food. You know, like if you don't want to eat it and you're well off, consider donating it to a food bank. Every Christmas, my wife and I go through our pantry and we pull out anything that's more than 6 months expired, and we give it to the food bank because they can only give stuff away that's less than a year expired. So go through your pantries, pull out stuff that's expiring, give it away, give it to a family member if you don't want to give it to a food bank. You know, like one of your family members that are struggling. I am sure everyone has family that's in that position. Help them out if you can, you know, and once again, try to talk to your family a little bit here, a little bit there. Don't try to force it, but, you know, the more people that you can get prepped, the better it'll be for you, because they'll not be coming to you for the resources that you've probably talked to them about that they know you have. Like most people, they like to talk to their family about everything. And, you know, you've probably told 1 or 2 or 4 of your family members about your stockpile in your back room or underneath your floorboards, and they're well aware of it. And those family members, when it's push comes to shove, will come to your door. So anybody you can get to do some prep work, like myself, my stepdad moved to this area. He didn't believe in prepping in any way, shape, or form when he moved here. He actually literally fought me for the first entire year that he lived here. I finally wore through him, and he currently has a 2.5, 3 month supply of the basic necessities to live at his house, and he cycles them now. And I said that to him, you know, like, this isn't for me to tell you to hoard. This is just like, put it away. You know, if we have like a ice storm and the power goes out for 2 weeks, you got propane to run your barbecue. You know, so I use common sense stuff, and these are things that we're seeing more and more commonly in the news. Like Nova Scotia had a gigantic historic rain event. We're getting tornadoes in the area that I live that we never got 20 years ago. It's knocking out our power on a more and more regular basis. So I went out and I bought more battery backup systems for my home. So I'm walking the walk that way. So yeah, this has been a rather long rant. Holy crow, we're almost at a half an hour. There you go, John. You got what you wanted. Now, I do have a little bit of bad news for you, John. If you're still here, leave a comment below. I left your coin on the truck seat. It didn't get into the mail. It's gone now. So I figure about 7 days from today, you should see it. And it should be in your hands. So I do apologize. I thought I picked it up with the rest of the letter mail. It's on the floor. It went today. So today being August 1st, check your mail between the 8th and the 10th. It'll probably show up. I think we got a 10-day turnaround between you and me. So anyways, I hope you guys have appreciated this video. If you have, I would really appreciate a like. And if you're new, a subscribe if you appreciated this content. And if you're here at the end and you're a regular channel subscriber, I really appreciate it. You know, like you help out my my channel and our channel by watching the video. It gets the algorithm woke up a little bit. You know, and if you could click the share button, that'd be great. If you could share it to your social media, you know, and get it around. If you're in live streams with other channels that do silver, you know, some other channels, you know, like Chris Nicole, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. You know, Numismatic Canada with Bruce, Yankee, you know, all the major channels. If you could just pop in my name in those without getting yourself in trouble. Don't do anything that'll get you in trouble, because, you know, we want to stay good with our other subscribers. I enjoy watching all of the channels. So I watch Yankee. I might not agree with all of his content, but I do watch him all the time, and I moderate for him. You know, also SD Silver Dragons, Salivate Metals, big shout outs to these guys. These are some staple resources. Like I said, I might not 100% agree with the content that they put out all the time, but the 90% of what they do is great. You know what I mean? It is great content. You know, like pocket pingers from Yankee, amazing. I recommend everybody get a pocket pinger. When Sal talks about using magnets for your metal, you guys watched a video I did. It was originally from either a Sal or an SD video that showed me how to do a magnet. So like I learned from them when I started getting into it like 4 or 5 years ago, more heavily, you know, like buying from other spots other than like a bank. I started doing all those things. So yeah, we gotta stay true to ourselves, you know, and you know, be fair where we need to be fair, and acknowledge those that are here before us, and make sure everyone knows where we got some of our stuff from. Like I said, you know, like originally I started off with Michael Maloney when he came out with the Hidden Secrets of Money back in 06. That's pretty much when I started kicking off pretty hard on my changes. So, you know, Mike has got a great content channel. You got others that have been on his show, like Peter Schiff. You've got, oh my gosh, why can't I remember his name right now? He just put out an excellent video on the fall of the American dollar and the changing of the guard going from one financial currency to another, and I can't remember his name. If I could figure it out, I'll put it in my next video. But he's like basically like the guru of gurus. Ray Dalio. I literally watch every living snot of anything that's Ray Dalio. So, you know, like there is someone, if you don't know who Ray is, I really recommend you look up Ray Dalio, and you have a good look at him. Bald Guy Money, he's another awesome stacker that does video content. He's also a Canadian, so if you're Canadian and you're in my channel, you want some more amazing Canadian content, you know, go check him out and let him know that I sent you. You know, you know, like I literally enjoy his breakdowns on what he sees as the top 1%, the top 5%, the top 10% of tier ownership for metal. Like, where do you rank against all the big stackers? He did a whole presentation on it. I thought it was outstanding. I even gave him a mega super chat on that video because I really enjoyed his content. And I asked him a question, which was, you know, ranking gold bullion by type and class, and what he views as the premium of gold. You can go look that up. He did a video based on that, and yeah, it's pretty outstanding as well. So once again, this is Canadian Stacker. This is not financial advice, but once again, if you could leave a like and leave a comment, and if you're new, subscribe, that'd be great. And like always, you know, have an awesome day. Keep your thumb to the sky, and keep on stacking and keep on prepping, and do your chores, and you know, do your preps, and take care of your spiritual needs, and the rest of life will fall in place. Until next time, have a great and amazing day.